on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Working on the G80 again today. As you just saw, I got the M Performance seat back covers. As you guys know, my G80 has the sport seats, not the carbon buckets. You know, I had the G80 on order for like 14 months and had carbon buckets spec'd, and this car came about for the 50R edition like 2 months before my allocation was due. Anyways, long story, I got this car and it was spec'd with the sports seats. So I wanted to do something a little different. You know, it has just the plastic seats, which isn't very special, obviously, at least in my opinion. The fronts are really nice, you know, black leather, blue stitching, red stitching. It's got alcantara running down the middle of the seat and alcantara up the top. But you know, if you're in the back of the seat, there isn't really anything special. It's just a bunch of plastic. A lot of companies make to where you can do carbon on this upper piece or carbon on the full thing, but I didn't like that too much. I wanted something a little bit different. And then I found out that BMW makes, or they made their own M Performance one, which is super legit. Half alcantara, half carbon fiber. It looks so good. Really, really nice stitching. And the cool thing is because it's made by BMW, this is the original one, the plastic one on the passenger side. I've already done the passenger side, but essentially, if you can see right here, all the pieces, all the connecting pieces, even the tabs with the additional fabric to tuck under so it's really clean, all that's identical to the new one, which is really nice. It's a super plug and play. I know other aftermarket ones, you have to kind of use a washer and nut adapter, which isn't a big deal, but this one was something that fit my personality, and I think it would look nice given I wanted this car, but it wasn't spec'd with the carbon buckets, so this is something that's going to add some extra flair to the inside, and it's more OEM plus, which is kind of my style. So anyways, I'm going to give you guys a rundown on how to put this in. The driver's side's already in. So I'm going to give you a rundown of how to put the passenger side in. Both are the same, obviously, and then we'll be good to go. So the first thing you want to do is obviously move the seats all the way forward. Just going to make everything a lot easier. And then lean up all the way. This is going to expose the two Torx bolts that are at the bottom of the seat. So if you look right up here, there's one right here and then one right here. And these are just two little tabs. And essentially, all I'm doing is these two little guys just pop right out. Kind of get a plastic trim tool so you don't scratch anything. You may have to wedge your finger in there. There we go. But they pop right out. So now, what we're doing is just taking a T20, and then right in there, you got one T20 and one T20 right there, and those will pop right out. So now what you want to do, once the two Torx bolts are out, basically on the bottom where the bolts are, there's two little plastic rivets or plastic nipples or whatever you want to call them. But if you grab the bottom right here and kind of pull out and up, there's one that pops. And the second one pops. And then there's, I'll show you when I pull it off. And then essentially it kind of sits on and down. So you want to pull it up and out. So if you grab from the sides here and go up and out like that, all comes off as one piece. So essentially, this is where the Torx bolts go into, 1 and 2. 1, 2 rivets are plastic nipples, 2 right here. And then if you look how the shape is, I don't know if you can see that very well or not, but there's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they sit concave on top of the seat. So kind of you have to go over where this kind of drops into, And once it goes over, you kind of push down and in at the same time, if that makes sense. But I'll show you more when the new piece comes on. Okay, so the good thing about this piece from BMW is that it's exactly the same, just in the reverse order. So, like I said previously, all you're gonna do is start by lining this piece up, and then once this is lined up over this metal piece, so this is essentially the male, or the female, that's the male piece essentially. You wanna basically make sure this is over this bar. Once those two line up, you kind of push in and down at the same time. Make sure the seat belt's out of the way, that might help. And then what I like to do is sit up as far as I can. You may have to look over to the side like this just to make sure this top piece lines up accordingly. Like so. And then once it kind of hugs the outside like that, and as that kind of goes over, the bottom kind of swings around a little bit. Once that happens, then you kind of push the top to where it connects. So basically, the centerpiece grabbed, these two pieces grabbed. I pushed with my hand on the carbon piece. Now I kind of pull down. You hear that click? Now it's in place. So the centerpiece, top piece at the same time, then the two tabs. It's just lining it up. It's nothing complicated, but it does have to be lined up. Otherwise, if that doesn't connect, there'll be a big gap and it won't look good. So that piece has to kind of use your hand to push over, I guess. Anyways, once that's done, pull this down, keeping your hand here, because once again, nothing's bolted in. Keeping your hand here, you want to essentially, this piece right here, which is the same fabric from the factory, you basically need to take that piece and hook it as you pull it up and make sure that it connects inside like this. So this side is on the outside, that side is on the inside, so both have to be the same. So I'm going to go fix the other side right now. Okay, so once both of these fabric pieces are inside the plastic housing on the bottom of the seat, you kind of push in and down. Did you hear the two clicks? So they both click easily at the same time. That's those little plastic nipples that we saw when we took the first piece out, and those just snapped into place with not much pressure at all. So once again, you're verifying that both of these are underneath the plastic, so it's inside and clean. Otherwise, when you roll the seat back, it's going to bend that fabric and snap it off. Plus it looks clean that way. That's why BMW did that. So once those are tucked underneath, now all we're going to do is put our Torx bolts back in. No Torx spec, at least I'm not going to use one. It's a non-crucial piece, but just hand tight because there is plastic in there as well, so you don't want to mess anything in that. So once these Torx bolts are back in, you're just taking the little plastic cap and just popping that back in over the Torx bolts, nice and clean. And all these are the original hardware. It doesn't come with any new hardware because it's obviously from BMW, so the original ones work. You don't need any extra bolts. Yep, that's nice and flush, and good to go. Okay, so let's take this covering out of here. This is what you do when you work on your car in Florida because it's 97 degrees and it's very hot. So let's go ahead and move this back. But man, this looks so good. It looks really, really good. Gosh, that looks so much better than the factory plastic. Jesus. I don't know why they did that. This piece, I mean, the carbon buckets are obviously a whole different seat, I understand. But these should have came from the factory like this. I mean, it just looks, it looks like it should have been that way from the factory. I mean, it just looks so good. I don't know why BMW did not do that. I just had to put plastic all over the back. But regardless, these look so good. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. If you guys do buy these in performance seat backs, I hope this video helped you. Fairly simple install, probably a level 2 out of 10 of difficulty. So not that hard at all, but makes a massive difference for the interior, as you can see. Pretty simple install. So yeah, for something that's simple to install, it's on the pricier end of things, but this car I plan on keeping for a long time, so it was worth it to me. But the difference it makes is totally worth it. Man, it looks so good. Looks so good. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Catch you on the next video. See ya.